I've got all these stories. I've got the whole Jay-Z stuff, including, the lawsuit, including Jay-Z-backed cannabis company fails after spending $500 million, including Jay-Z sues the city of Kansas City. Kansas. I live in Kansas City, Missouri. I go to school in Kansas City, Kansas. These are Jay-Z stories I've been kind of kicking down the road for a while, but with the lawsuit news, I'm like, oh shit, okay, well now I actually have a reason to talk about Jay-Z, so let's hit them all. And then also Jay-Z published, now this, in light of the rape accusations, this doesn't, who cares, but this is a thing. Jay-Z published his Book of Hove exhibit into a book titled The Book of Hove, a tribute to Jay-Z. So he's been, he's cooking. Was, at least. Now he's cooking legal defenses. But I guess we just get into it. The fall of the old guard. This is rough for Jay. I knew it wasn't going to be nice. Whoever was going to be wrapped up in the diddy, Tony Buzbee, he's been warning us. There's big names that are going to drop. People are going to be shocked. He's been saying that since the summer. Buzbee is the name of the lawyer who's brought the accusations against Diddy and Jay-Z now. I knew it wasn't going to be pretty. Jay-Z was kind of predictable. Internet kind of predicted that already. We've been talking. Not me, specifically. I don't want Jay-Z to go down like this. But if he did this, let's see the evidence. Let's air it all out. We need to know. So, Jay-Z accused in civil lawsuit of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 along with Sean Diddy Combs. By the way, that's the picture I used of him in the thumbnail. Cool ass beanie. Also, I do like Jay-Z's dreads. They're very thick. Very impressive. Let's see. Jay-Z, the star rapper and entrepreneur whose real name is Sean Carter, was accused in a lawsuit Sunday of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 allegedly, along with Sean Diddy Combs. The anonymous accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, said the assault happened after she was driven to an MTV Music Video Awards after party. The federal lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Combs as a defendant. It was refiled Sunday to include Carter. Texas-based attorney Tony Buzbee, who filed the suit, did not comment. Carter called the allegations idiotic, Carter is Jay-Z, in a lengthy statement Sunday evening and alleged that Buzbee was engaged in unprofessional behavior. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? Carter said in a statement to NBC News. These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York declined to comment on whether the office is pursuing the case when shown NBC News' report on the lawsuit. So if the U.S. Attorney's Office picks this up, that will signal to me that there is legitimate evidence here. That would be nuts. And the fact that they've already done that with Diddy, now seems to be a lot of evidence against Diddy. And that's why he's in jail right now. If the state of New York decides that there is a lot of evidence against Jay-Z in this as well, Jay-Z could end up in jail easily. You guys, if he's done this, he could end up in jail and he should end up in jail. We need the evidence. I have to assume that Buzbee has evidence. I have to assume that. If he wants any credibility left after this. I don't know too much about Tony Buzbee. I know that there is people online talking about he's been a known lawyer for some time. Let's read more about Tony here. So this is the lawyer bringing everything against Diddy and now Jay-Z. This man. Oh yeah, so he was involved in the BP litigation. Buzbee appeared on the cover of New York Times Magazine in November 2010 regarding his role in the litigation against BP following the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. That was a legitimate thing. That's a good ass thing to go after. That just builds credibility for him in my mind. The article described him as one of the most successful trial lawyers in Texas. In 2017, Buzbee represented the family of a victim of an oil rig explosion. As of April 6, 2021, Buzbee represents at least 21 clients alleging sexual misconduct against NFL quarterback Deshaun Watson. Wow. In 2021, Buzbee filed a $750 million lawsuit against rapper Travis Scott. Oh yeah, he's the guy that the Travis Scott Astroworld disaster on behalf of 120 victims who died or were injured during the Astroworld Festival crowd crush. Buzbee is also a property developer. He owns Buzbee Properties, a real estate firm focused on various suburbs in the greater Houston area. He also owns some properties in Florida. In 2013, Buzbee was brought on to lead the legal team representing Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton in his impeachment trial before the Texas Senate. In 2023, Buzbee and Washington Ho started a line of THC-infused seltzer named Ho Buzz. Okay, he's in the weed industry. That is odd. Buzbee was the lead trial attorney for Rebecca Grossman, who was convicted of second-degree murder in LA in 2024 after a 2020 hit-and-run that killed two brothers. He argued that former pro baseball pitcher Scott Erickson had struck the children first while racing Grossman. Okay, interesting. And then the whole Diddy thing, and then now Jay-Z. Politics. He's run for Texas stuff. Supported Rick Perry's presidential campaign, who was a Republican, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay, interesting. 2016, Buzbee hosted a fundraiser at the River Oaks mansion for then presidential candidate Donald Trump. Oh, that's strange. So in 2016, he's hosting fundraisers for Trump. Fast forward to these days, and he is representing victims of sexual assault. So later on, following the release of the Access Hollywood tape, Buzbee disavowed Trump and stated his intention to write in veteran Dan Moren for president. Subsequently, Buzbee gave $500,000 to Trump's inaugural committee. Okay, so this is good to know. So Buzbee, he's kind of full of shit. At least politically, like morally, I don't know, you guys. Let me just say this. Buzbee's heart is not in the place we think it is, just based on all these lawsuits he's filing. Okay, he's a bit of a shark. Okay, not to take anything away from the Diddy victims or anything. You know, I believe a lot of it. I do. Houston mayoral run, ran for mayor. Turner accused Buzbee's campaign of running a deepfake ad. Okay. Personal life, Buzbee married Zoe Benson in 1991. They have 4 children together. Whoa. 2016, Buzbee was arrested in Harris County on charges related to driving while intoxicated. By December, the Harris County District Attorney had dismissed the case, though controversy ensued due to Buzbee completing a year-long probation program and just 8 months in his previous financial contributions to the district 2014 election campaign. Okay. The following year, Buzbee garnered public attention for parking a fully operational World War II-era Sherman M4A4 tank named Cheyenne on Houston's River Oaks Boulevard. This incident led to a series of parking citations and a conflict with the River Oaks Property Owners Association, resulting in the tank's eventual relocation to Texarkana. That's so strange, dude. He's kind of a weirdo. He's giving me RFK Jr. vibes, just like eccentric, crazy man, like high energy, up to weird, expensive stuff all the time. In February 21, while Buzbee's River Oaks home was under renovations and he stayed at the Four Seasons and Post Oak Hotel in Houston, he decided to sleep on the streets during an Arctic storm to prove a point and raise awareness. Man, this guy is a bit of a provocateur. He is a bit of a showman, okay, but he is successful. He is a legitimate lawyer. He sometimes goes after the right thing. He's sometimes focused on the right thing, sometimes not. By the way, give this video a thumbs up. That helps so much. You know, little things, you know, it's so easy. It's so free. It takes nothing from you. If you like this content, give it a thumbs up. And if you really like it, give me a subscribe or whatever, but be sure to like this video. Leave a comment too. You know, this is a very heinous thing that he's accused Jay-Z of, but Tony Buzbee himself is a pretty questionable character. He kind of lies. So we don't know. We don't know. We just looked at Tony Buzbee's Wikipedia page. This is the lawyer who's bringing everything against Diddy, and now these accusations against Jay-Z as well. He has a storied history. He has a very interesting past. He's kind of seen right now as like he's fighting the good fight, fighting for justice, his bastion of morality. That's not really what this man is. He's more of an opportunist. He's run for mayor. You know, he's getting his name out there always. He's also in this weird thing. He owns a World War II era Sherman M4A4 tank, and he parked it outside of his house and had like a huge conflict with the River Oaks Property Owners Association. And then he also, in 2021, he did this weird publicity stunt where he slept on the streets during an Arctic storm to prove a point and raise awareness. Jay-Z says these allegations are heinous. A spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York declined to comment on whether the office is pursuing the case when shown NBC News' reports on the lawsuit. So yeah, if the Southern District of New York, if they end up pursuing Jay-Z for this, that gives this the actual like credibility that it needs to be taken serious. Up until this point, I don't trust this Tony guy. You know, I believe a lot of the Diddy victims stuff that I've read, like we have evidence that we've seen publicly about the Diddy situation, so that's a little different. But this like one Jay-Z accusation that's kind of out of nowhere, doesn't align with anything else we've heard about Jay-Z up until this point. I'm not too convinced yet. But if the state of New York starts to pursue Jay-Z, then I'm like, now we got something on our hands here. That means there's actual evidence. Buzbee has filed several lawsuits in recent months. All have withheld their complainants' names, accusing Combs of assault and rape. This is the first suit in which he has named another high-profile defendant. In a statement, legal reps for Combs called the suits shameless publicity stunts designed to extract payments from celebrities who fear having lies spread about them, just as lies have been spread about Mr. Combs. As his legal team has said before, Mr. Combs has full confidence in the facts and the integrity of the judicial process. In court, the truth will prevail that Mr. Combs never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. Like, come on. He definitely did it like at least one person. They've got to give on at least one. Like, come on. It definitely happened at least once, y'all. Federal prosecutors in New York criminally charged Combs in September with racketeering, sex trafficking, and other offenses, and he is behind bars at Brooklyn's Metro Detention Center after he was denied bail for a third time last month. His trial is scheduled for May 5th. Prosecutors said in a court hearing last month that they are in the process of potentially bringing more charges against Combs in a superseding indictment. He is like more fucked than anybody. Like the only person that could I was gonna say the only other person that I'm like, yo, like that person's fucked beyond belief is Alex Jones. But even Alex Jones isn't in prison. You know, he may have lost a $1 billion lawsuit that he'll obviously never be able to pay it back, but he's a free man. Diddy is fucked, like, so far. The evidence that comes out about Diddy, like, it all better be even more ridiculous and heinous than what we've even come to realize up to this point. Like, the way that Diddy is, like, getting buried, like, this shit better be even more insane than what we already know. The whole Diddy thing. I'm sure it is. The way that the state, you know, the actual government is treating Diddy. You know, it's not really this Tony Buzbee guy that's controlling all of it at the end of the day. He's bringing the accusations. Jay-Z's stuff isn't wrapped up in the government yet. But Diddy, whew, dude, holy shit. Before the lawsuit was refiled Sunday, Carter received a letter from plaintiff's counsel requesting a mediation to resolve this matter. Buzbee wrote in the suit, in response to the letter, which NBC News has seen, Carter filed his own lawsuit against the accuser's attorneys. Buzbee wrote in the suit, "You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same," Carter added in his statement Sunday. "I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children." The lawsuit claims that in 2000, when Doe was 13, Combs and Carter raped her at a house party after the MTV Music Video Awards in New York. Guessing this is a picture from that night. The lawsuit says a friend dropped her off at the VMAs at Radio City Music Hall. She did not have a ticket, and she approached various limousine drivers to try to gain access to the show or an after party. One driver, the lawsuit says, told her that he worked for Combs and that she fit what Diddy was looking for. He invited her to a party after the show and told her to return to his car later in the evening after he transported Carter and Combs. The lawsuit says. Later, the driver picked her up, the suit says, and after 20 minutes, they arrived at a White House with a U-shaped driveway, the suit says. She had to sign a doc she believed was a non-disclosure agreement on arrival and did not receive a copy to enter the party, which the suit says was filled with celebrities and people doing marijuana and cocaine. Oh man, that's funny. It's just crawling with people doing marijuana. She was offered a drink that made her feel woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down, the suit says, and she went into a room to rest. Shortly afterward, the suit says Combs and Carter entered the room with Combs saying, "You are ready to party." That's when she alleges Carter removed her clothes, held her down, and raped her while Combs and an unnamed female celebrity watched. She says Combs also raped her as Carter and the woman looked on. The suit says that she was able to resist being forced to perform oral sex on Combs by hitting him in the neck and that he stopped. After the alleged assault, the suit says she grabbed her clothes and left. She made her way to a gas station where she called her father. It says the accuser is seeking unspecified damages. I want to hear from her father. You know, we need corroborating stories. I need more details. Like, do the people in her life at the time know about this? Can we hear from them? You know, that kind of stuff. The accuser is seeking unspecified damages. The lawsuit is filed under New York Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act. "My only heartbreak is for my family," Carter said in the statement. "My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable," Carter added. So that gets into a bit of the response, right? In a statement issued at CNN, Carter said that the woman's inconsistencies prove that Buzbee filed a false complaint against me in the pursuit of money and fame. This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press, Carter's statement continued. "True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon." Carter's attorney Alex Spiro told CNN, "It is stunning that a lawyer would not only file such a serious complaint without proper vetting, but would make things worse by further peddling this false story in the press. We are asked the court to dismiss this frivolous case today and will take up the matter of additional discipline of Mr. Buzbee and all the lawyers that filed the complaint." Spiro also filed a letter to the judge on Friday night regarding the inconsistencies in Jane Doe's account, calling her allegations a sham. "Basic facts in her narrative, the who, what, when, and where are wrong," Spiro wrote to the judge. When pressed, the plaintiff admitted she was guessing about key details. She admits she has no single corroborating witness over the last 24 years. Yeah, that's not gonna be helpful, because if that's true, then the very basic questions I was asking to just like get an actual sense of the legitimacy of her story was immediately like, well, do the people around her, like, what does her dad have to say? Who picked her up? Or does anybody around her know of the story or anything like that? But if there's not a single corroborating witness, what is anybody supposed to do with this information? Like, there's nothing to do about it. It happened 24 years ago. Prior to Buzbee filing Jane Doe's amended complaint in which Carter was named, Carter's lawyers had filed an extortion suit against Buzbee, claiming that the Houston-based attorney was trying to shake down innocent celebrities, politicians, and business people with an army of masked accusers. Knowing what I know about Buzbee, just by reading his Wikipedia page, there's a lot of sketchy shit in that Wikipedia page. This man is very inconsistent with his moral positioning. He has definitely represented victims that needed justice and has helped find justice for, innocent people. Can't take that away from him. But he seems to kind of just want to get his name out there as well. Very much so, trying to stay in the public eye, trying to do outrageous things, outlandish things. For example, sleeping on the streets during an Arctic storm to quote-unquote raise awareness. On his Wikipedia page, it does not specify raising awareness for what. So, clearly it was just a publicity stunt. You know what I mean? So he wants to keep his name out there. He's running for mayor, running for city council, all sorts of shit, parking his tank on the street and getting in a public spat with the neighborhood association about it. He just wants to keep his name in the papers. That is undeniable. Now, this takes nothing away from the actual victims of Diddy. And if this is true, these claims against Jay-Z, we need the evidence, Buzbee. Come on, man. The fuck is going on here, brother? Lawyers for Combs, who has previously denied all civil allegations against him, criticized Buzbee in a statement to CNN. Also, yeah, this doesn't help. If this thing against Jay-Z is kind of overshadow the very real claims against Diddy, this could very well, help Diddy's case, just, at least in the public eye. So, Buzbee, be careful with what you're doing, bro. Come on, man. At least, hopefully you prove me wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong about this. Hopefully you got the evidence and you got the witnesses, but we'll see. I don't know. Accuser admits to mistakes in their allegations. This was yesterday. Jay-Z says true justice is coming after rape accuser admits to mistakes and allegations. This was over before it began. In a new interview with NBC News, an Alabama woman acknowledged the inconsistencies in her allegations where she claims Jay-Z and Diddy raped her when she was 13 years old. I have made some mistakes, she told NBC News. However, the woman, identified as a Jane Doe, maintains that the overall allegations are true despite some of the details not being consistent. One claim she made was that her father picked her up following the alleged assault, but her father doesn't remember that. Ooh. That answers a very important question for me. Okay, so that's a minor update. Not really even much of an update, but I did get that little piece of information about her father. So we don't know. We need evidence. Like I keep saying, if the state picks us up, then we got something. I mean, I don't want this to be true. If the state picks us up, Buzbee might have something here. If it did happen, we need to know. Regardless, we need to know the evidence and what the fuck is going on here. Jay-Z is too much of a goddamn important asset to hip hop to go down this easy. But if this did happen, fuck Jay-Z. We'll know. Jay-Z's gonna deny it for the rest of his life, but we'll get a sense in the upcoming months, next year, I guess. I don't know. We'll get a good sense. But we have more. That's not all the Jay-Z news. So that's the most recent Jay-Z news. Okay, but I've had some other Jay-Z things bubbling up. So let's take a look into Jay-Z's world a little deeper. Some Jay-Z news that was bubbling up on the cusp of this big rape accusation. So December 3rd, Jay-Z's luxury weed brand reportedly struggling despite $575 million investment. Jay-Z's luxury weed brand Monogram is reportedly in financial trouble despite receiving initial backing of over $500 million. Like, how do you fumble $500 million for weed? The easiest thing in the world to sell. But if Jay-Z can sell it, there's something wrong. Seems like there's something wrong with this Monogram company as opposed to Jay-Z. Something so wrong that not even $500 million could keep it afloat. Joints from the company, which launched in 2020, retailed for $50, 10 times the average price in California. So that's a big red flag right off the bat. The company originally estimated it would gross upwards of $300 million in its first year, but their accounts for 2022 show that Monogram's parent company, TPCO, suffered a $587 million net loss, according to SFGate. Following the filing, Monogram appears to have been sold to a separate company called Gold Flora, which is also in dire financial straits. What about that where does $587 million go? This year, Gold Flora revealed it had suffered losses of $56 million while it has debts of over $60 million, more than it has in assets. Like, at this point, it just seems like money laundering. How do you, are they even creating product? The company has also been sued for allegedly not paying invoices, apparently owing a cannabis farm over $200,000. How? Where does $500 million go with nothing to show for it in the company? They don't even have stock. They don't even have weed to sell. Jay-Z, who is chief visionary officer for Monogram and a central point of its initial publicity splash, has not yet commented on the company's financial woes. Monogram appears to be a rare miss in Jay-Z's vast business empire, which has powered his personal net worth to $2.5 billion, according to Forbes. Most recently, he bought into the luxury watch marketplace WristCheck. I didn't hear about that. Jay-Z expands investment portfolio with stake in luxury watch marketplace, July 4th, 2024. Jay-Z himself is an avid watch collector, was part of the company's latest round of fundraising, which total 5 million. The website allows collectors to buy and sell luxury timepieces that have already been authenticated by watchmakers, so those spending up to 7 figures on a watch know it's the real deal. Some rich people shit. Jay-Z is also known for his extensive investment holdings, which include a large real estate portfolio, an early investment in Uber, and stakes in marijuana software company FlowHub and plant-based milk company Oatly. I don't know what FlowHub is. Do a quick googly. Just curious. Grow your dispensary business now. It's like for businesses. Jay-Z's like making businesses to run your businesses. He's also a former owner of NBA team Brooklyn Nets and recently announced plans to get into the casino business. All of that is now seems to be up in the air, right? So that's interesting, okay? Jay-Z is, maybe his heart's not in weed anymore. It seems like he didn't care about this company. Otherwise, he maybe would have stepped in a little more. That's where Jay-Z was at in the weeks leading up to the rape accusations. And in other news, Jay-Z's team, this was in November 19th, Jay-Z's Team Rock sues Kansas City, Kansas for records related to alleged police misconduct. I'm from Kansas City. I live on the Missouri side, but I go to school on the Kansas side. It's all like one big city. We're right on the border of Kansas and Missouri. The hip-hop moguls company and the Midwest Innocence Project want a court to compel Kansas City to comply after claiming it has stonewalled them for a year. Jay-Z's Team Rock, the social justice arm of his Rock Nation entertainment company, filed a lawsuit Tuesday claiming Kansas City, Kansas has violated public records laws by failing to timely produce law enforcement records related to decades-long allegations of police abuse and misconduct. The suit, filed in Wyandotte County District Court in partnership with the Midwest Innocence Project, says the KC Police Department has not released substantial documents related to complaints pertaining to current and former detectives and officers after Rock Nation submitted a records request in November of 23, which I remember hearing some news about that last year. So now, fast forward a year later, the corrupt-ass police department has not released those documents. For decades, communities in KCK, particularly minority and immigrant communities, large Hispanic population in KCK, they've been subjected to an alarming pattern of abuse and other serious misconduct by the KCK PD, according to the suit, which was first obtained by NBC News. Rather than promoting a culture of transparency and accountability, the KCK PD has a long history of turning a blind eye to, at best, and even covering up, if not worse, abusive and or corrupt conduct by its officers. The suit adds, the complaint against the Kansas City Police Department and the Unified Government of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas alleges they have stonewalled the plaintiffs for almost a year as part of its request under the Kansas Open Records Act. The plaintiffs said they were initially charged $2,200 in fees, which they agreed to pay, but today, according to the plaintiffs, the 225 documents provided are mostly personnel locator records showing officer shifts and assignments and a smaller handful consisting of training materials and department policies. This is pretty crazy, actually. First off, I didn't know Rock Nation had a social justice arm. Kind of cool. Regardless of whatever Jay-Z's going through, you know, they're an organization. They're doing real shit. You know, they're still suing KCK, even though Jay-Z is being accused of rape. Social justice doesn't stop. The 225 documents provided are mostly personnel locator records showing officer shifts and assignments and a smaller handful consisting of training materials and department policies. There has not been one document related to any complaint or investigation into even a single instance of misconduct by any member of the KCKPD, as requested, the suit says. The city's police force has come under scrutiny over allegations of corruption and civil rights violations in recent years. Activists have called for a broader federal investigation, particularly in light of the alleged abuses under former KC police detective Roger Golubsky, who in September 2022 was charged with federal civil rights crimes after he was accused of exploiting black women for sex and framing people for crimes they say they did not commit. And this is a pretty big deal in our city right now. This whole Roger Golubsky guy, this piece of shit. Federal indictment accuses Roger Golubsky, who is white, of sexually assaulting 2 women on several occasions from 1998 to 2002. But yeah, so he would like pick up women of color and rape them as far back as 1998, and they got him. He, I guess, is in jail now. Go read about that. I mean, we are in the rabbit hole right now, but I got a lot of shit to get to, so go read about that one on your own. That's what instigated Jay-Z to get involved in this, or, you know, the Rock Nation to get involved in this. He was charged with federal civil rights crimes after he was accused of exploiting black women for sex and framing people for crimes they said they did not commit. In an interview with NBC News, Team Rock's managing director Danya Diaz said they only received the personnel documents related to 3 out of 16 requests, and some requests have not been sufficiently answered in a reasonable amount of time under the law. She said they believe litigation is warranted to compel action and to ultimately bring accountability to a department where officers' actions have come under scrutiny. This filing is because human beings with badges have betrayed the public's trust. That type of behavior must be held to a standard. Kansas City Police didn't immediately respond to a request for comment about the lawsuit, and the Unified Government of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas declined to comment on pending litigation. The state's public records law does maintain that certain documents are exempt from public review, including personnel info of public employees and criminal investigation records. But that's the shit we need. But the plaintiffs contend that the unified government denied his request in broad, undifferentiated strokes and failed to distinguish between records relating to pending and closed investigations, and failed to acknowledge that virtually all legitimate privacy concerns could be resolved through redactions. Yeah, because the police department is just squirming their way out of this shit. Obviously, it's all bullshit. They just don't want to give us the records because they're bad. Jay-Z's really going through it right now, but at least his company, Rock Nation, the social justice arm, which is called Team Rock, at least they're out here still fighting the good fight. In my hometown, nonetheless. Isn't that crazy? So although the old guard is falling currently, and the cracks are, they're forming, there's like little pebbles scattering down, the foundation is cracking and crumbling of our goats, the legends, Jay-Z, Kanye. But hey, Jay-Z, I got faith for this man. Did he rape a 13-year-old in 2000? I don't know. My heart tells me hopefully not. But at the same time, Team Rock is out here fighting a really good fight. Max Koch, a First Amendment rights lawyer in Lawrence, Kansas, said the state's open records law turns on whether disclosure of a document is in the public interest. There's legitimate argument to be made that records related to police misconduct can shed light on how the public is being served, he added. Although Kansas's law is liberally constructed to promote openness when there is ambiguity over whether a record is public, law enforcement records related to criminal complaints are routinely denied, Koch said. Team Rock's interest in Kansas City transpired after learning from local media in 2021 that the FBI had found numerous allegations of civil rights violations, of officer misconduct and excessive force dating back to the 90s. In 2022, Team Rock sued the department and took out a full-page ad in the Washington Post calling for an investigation. Team Rock attorney Alex Spiro wrote to the Justice Department that a blue wall of silence had allowed alleged misconduct to fester over decades. Following Golubski's arrest, Team Rock and other organizations rallied to get the Justice Department to launch a police pattern and practice investigation in Kansas City, Kansas, where about half the population is black and Latino. That has not happened, although an investigation was opened in neighboring Kansas City, Missouri, regarding alleged discrimination within its police force of black officers. Yeah, what's up with KCK? I mean, KCPD, which is the Missouri side police department, is pretty corrupt as well, pretty bad, but even they are cooperating more than the KCK police department, which tells me KCK police department is shaking in their boots a bit. They got some skeletons in their closet, stuff they don't want us to find out about. Maybe they've cleaned up their act these days, but honestly, no, not really. But what happened in the past, it must be pretty dark. Pretty bad. That investigation has had little traction, according to the Kansas City Star, dimming hopes among some police reform advocates and community groups that the Justice Department under a Trump administration would review police in Kansas City, Kansas as well. Under the first Trump administration, the department all but abandoned broad civil rights investigations into police forces. Trump's transition team did not immediately respond to a request for comment about his potential plans for the Justice Department's police investigations. Meanwhile, attention on KCK police is expected to return next month when Golubski's trial is scheduled to begin. His trial starts this month. Golubski, who retired in 2010 after 35 years on the force, pleaded not guilty to 6 counts of deprivation of civil rights. Kansas City Police didn't immediately respond to a request about community concerns. The Justice Department declined to comment. Kansas City Police Chief Carl Oakman has previously said he would comply with any investigation, but Diaz contends there hasn't been any willingness on the department's part to be more transparent. We strongly believe that everyone wants to live in a society where they feel safe, she said. We are open to speaking to anyone who cares, and if this is not resolved before Trump takes office, we will work with the new administration to hopefully get a resolution that's decades long awaited. Yeah, justice for the citizens of Kansas City, Kansas. I mean, it's pretty rough over there. Like the article said, it's like majority black and Latino, and pretty rough police department, kind of been terrorizing them for the last 30 years. It's sad. That one hits home. So Jay-Z's, his company's doing some good there. It's worth noting. Is that it for Jay-Z? There's one more thing about Jay-Z. Granted, I put this in here before the rape allegations, so this may seem a little off color, but this was an article written December 4th, 10 days ago. Article is only 10 days old. It's funny how things, the mood shifts really quickly, right? These days in this media landscape we're living in. But 10 days ago, Jay-Z's The Book of Hove Museum exhibit turned into an actual book. Last week was a good week. This week, not so much. Jay-Z fans who didn't get a chance to attend his Book of Hove Museum exhibit need not miss out, as it has been turned into an actual book. The rap legend teamed up with luxury publisher Asuline to release a coffee table book called The Book of Hove, a tribute to Jay-Z, on Wednesday, December 4th, coinciding with his 55th birthday. The original exhibit, which was held at the Brooklyn Public Library from July to December last year, showcased thousands of Jay-Z artifacts, including original recording masters, never-before-seen photos, and iconic stage wear. I wonder if anything from the 2000s VMAs is there. Oh god, that's disturbing. Aiming to provide a behind-the-scenes look at the billionaire mogul's life while celebrating his artistry, roots, accomplishments, and transcendent cultural impact. The exhibit even featured a full-size recreation of Baseline Studios, the famed New York City recording studio where Jigga crafted classic albums like The Blueprint and The Black Album. According to Accuser, the 432-page book commemorates and immortalizes the immersive installation, showcasing in one place the thousands of archived objects from every facet of Jay-Z's professional life. In addition to nearly 700 images, the collector's item also includes in-depth essays to accompany each of its 8 chapters, putting Hove's achievements and cultural impact in context for readers. The Book of Hove, a tribute to Jay-Z, doesn't come cheap though, with a classic edition costing $120 for a book. A book, huh? And an ultimate edition featuring a luxurious clamshell presentation case, white gloves, and a signature canvas tote bag, setting readers back $2,000. What? Dude, luxury items will always blow my mind. The price that companies will sell like a pair of glasses for example, like the just like $20,000 pair of glasses or something. It's just nuts. Like I couldn't imagine having money to throw away like that. Even if you did, why? Buy normal glasses. So stupid. All right, copies are available to purchase here. Let's take a look. That's a coffee table book for show. Where's the $2,000? There it is. There's the $2,000 version. Holy shit. So this is like a kind of cool company, actually. I want to see what other products they have, but damn. Nestled in a luxurious clamshell presentation case, this visually stunning volume features... They're gonna give a rape accusations discount. God damn it. Bad timing. Oh man, this Accuser company is probably pissed. What are their best sellers? James Bond, Mexico City. Now I'm just curious. I mean, these are cool, but way too expensive. Like, I'm not spending $120 on some damn book. Books are free, bro. I go to the library. Them shits are free. Alright, a portion of the proceeds from the sale of the Ultimate Edition will be donated to the Brooklyn Public Library. Oh, that's good. That's cool. A portion. It can mean anything. $1. Alright, the Book of Hove Museum exhibit attracted over 600,000 visitors, making it one of the largest public installations in U.S. history. Whoa, that's crazy. People love Jay-Z. It was especially well received in the hip-hop community, with Jermaine Dupri crowning it one of the best hip-hop 50 celebrations. As I'm coming in the studio, I'm watching clips of this Book of Hove thing. The Brooklyn Library decided to wrap the whole building in Jay-Z's lyrics and turn the whole library into the Book of Hove exhibit, he said in a video posted online. Man, Jay-Z's so respected. They wrapped the whole fucking Brooklyn Library in his lyrics. Listen, man, this is one of the most creative things I've seen done for Hip Hop 50. I'm inspired, and this is part of the Hip Hop 50 thing, so that's pretty cool. Questlove was also blown away after visiting the exhibit in person, particularly by the replica of Baseline Studios. Yo, man, I'm mind blown. They recreated Baseline Studios, he exclaimed while filming himself providing a tour of the exhibit. Wow, this is to the letter. This is literally to the letter. Man, it's such a shame this cool-ass accomplishment in Jay-Z's life is being overshadowed now by these accusations. If they're true, then let it be. But if they're not, man, this is super, super depressing for Jay-Z. I mean, and as a member of the public, I just have to wait and see what happens. If the state of New York decides to prosecute Jay-Z for this, that is bad. Obviously for Jay-Z, but it's bad for hip-hop fans, because that means there's evidence. There's, when the government goes after a case, they're going after it for a reason. So we'll see what happens.